Divine as fuck. Divine as fuck. Divine as fuck. Divine as fuck. All right, I'm gonna take it, y'all. What's up, family? What is going on? How are you guys doing? I missed y'all like always. How is it going? How are y'all feeling mentally? How are y'all feeling emotionally? How are y'all feeling spiritually? How are y'all feeling physically in your body? Let me know. You know I care. You know I want to hear. But as for moi, just releasing that whatever energy is on me right now. Let me explain. The last 2 weeks, well, let's say the last month, my life on this earthly realm has been absolutely cray-cray. To me, right? I am experiencing a lot of what the fuckness. If that's a word, we're going to make it a word today. I've been experiencing a lot of what the fuckness. Things that are happening that are making me say, what the fuck? For what? Por qué? Right? Why? But, you know, with the level of understanding that we have, once you understand something, you have no excuse to go back to your old ways of thinking, right? Once you understand something, ignorance, some people believe that ignorance is bliss, right? And to a certain extent, yes, you can say that, because if you don't know, you don't know. But once you know and you try to go back to the old shit, then that's not gonna ever fucking work. Then you're held accountable, right? So because I know not to pose the question of why to God or to the universe, because all things happen for a reason and everything that happens is divine, I've been forced to change my mode of thinking. So when I sat down with the thoughts and understanding of everything happens for a reason, everything happens according to the divine's plan, and everything happens to teach us something. Everything is a lesson, right? I sat with it that way instead of really what my usual is to overthink the why and put myself in a state of depression, trying to overthink it and understand it. Some things just cannot be understood, especially when it's out of our realm of understanding. And I truly do mean realm. So in order to understand outside of this earthly realm of understanding, I had to tap in with spirit, and that's where I sat with myself with these ideas. When I tapped in with spirit, I recalled all of the times in the past few years where I have prayed to break generational curses off of my bloodline for myself and for my children, and to vindicate my ancestors, because when we heal ourselves, we don't just heal ourselves or the people around us, but we're also healing our ancestors, right? Because they didn't get to continue to do the work in this way. And so when we continue that work, it heals the whole bloodline, even going back to them. But I recall all of the times I prayed to break generational curses, right? And so God was like, bet, I got you. I already knew you were going to pray this, but I was waiting for you to say it so that we can activate it. Boom, God activated it. And so over the years, the different tasks or the different hurdles or the different lessons that have come into my path, that have presented itself to me, has been those that will cause me to overcome a certain type of way. that breaks the curse. You know what I mean? And so then I recalled over the past 2 years where I began to pray to live a thriving lifestyle instead of a surviving one. One day I simply got tired of surviving. I realized that I spent all of my life surviving. And so did my parents, and so did their parents, and so on and so forth, all the way back. I didn't want that for myself anymore, and I sure in the hell did not want that shit for my kids. So I began to pray, God, move me from a surviving lifestyle to a life of thriving, right? And in every sense. Not just financially, but I mean in every fucking way. Emotionally, I want to thrive. Mentally, I want to thrive. Spiritually, I want to thrive. Physically, I want to thrive, in my body. Yes, also financially, I want to thrive. I just want the energy and the vibration of my life to be of thriving, right? So I prayed that, and God was like, bet. I already knew you were going to pray it. I was just waiting for you to say it so that I can activate it in your life. Boom. It's activated. Now, I am seeing that the different things that are happening in my life, the different hurdles, the things that we see as problems or hardships that are coming into my life and presenting itself to me, are situations that are happening to cause me to overcome a certain way so that I can continue to shift out of those survival ways and into the energy of thriving. Does that make sense? So that's where I am in life right now. Right now, I am fighting. Right now, I am fighting. Right now, I am fighting to stay out of that survival mindset. Right now, I am fighting, y'all. Do y'all understand? Fighting to change my mode of thinking, to change my energy, to change the way I react to situations, to change the way I move concerning certain situations. From that of surviving to ones that are more aligned with thriving, which puts me more and more in that state of thriving. One of the most recent times, and there has been so many times because I pray this prayer all the time, but one of the most recent times I pray for God to shift my life out of surviving to thriving. I saw something on Facebook that blew my mind, and it was so divine. I literally saw this after I prayed that prayer. It says something along the lines of, when you feel like you're losing your mind, it's because you're really losing your grips on the reality that you're in. And when you're losing the grips on the reality that you're in, is because your consciousness, your energy is trying to go to a higher reality. You're losing your grips on your current reality because your being is trying to go to a higher level of reality, a different reality, a better reality. So let yourself, quote unquote, lose your mind. Let yourself lose those grips on that old reality so that you can be shifted to a new one. And in that moment, I was like, well, I'll be. If that's not a fucking sign, you know how those posts be like, I see this sign, but I need a signier sign. That was a signier ass sign for me. So in accordance with that, what I'm being taught right now is to change or raise my vibration so that I don't vibrate on this earth's frequency. The realm that we live on is 3D. Some people say 3D, some people say 4D. The 3 dimensions that this world is made up of is depth, height, and width. So matter, what takes up space. Everything is matter. Everything on this realm is something that you can tangibly touch, move. It's something physical. It's matter. And the 4th dimension is that of time, which doesn't exist outside of this earthly realm. It's a man-made concept. So with the understanding of our earthly realm being limited to only things you can actually see, right? And with our earthly realm being limited to time, and time is so constraining. Time is so constraining. You always hear people say, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. Why not? Because it's a constraint of this realm. That's why this earthly realm is so low vibrational. It's very limited. That's exactly why. So I've found it very important to intentionally raise out of this earth's low vibration. When I started to understand this earth's low vibration and the constraints that comes with these 3-dimensional, well, let's say 4-dimensional concepts of this realm, I started to make the connection between this realm's low vibration and surviving. It is grossly linked together. The energy of surviving was birthed from this low vibrational realm. Surviving holds the energy of lack and scarcity. And when you feel limited because of what you see in front of you, those 3 dimensions, depth, height, width, whatever we see in front of us or around us on this realm, and when you are constrained because of time, it keeps you at a certain level. It keeps you in a box. And when you're stuck and constrained like that, there is no room to grow. There is no room to believe. And when you can't believe because of the limitations and constraints of this realm, you can't create. When you can't believe, there's no way that you can create. And when I say create, I'm meaning create your world. You have to believe that there is more outside of this dimension. You have to believe that there is more outside of this earthly realm. You have to believe that there is more outside of these 4 dimensions: depth, height, width, and time. Matter, what we see, what constrains us. I walk by faith, not by sight. It's not about what I see around me, but faith is the tool. And to have faith, you have to be able to think outside of your limitations. You have to be able to think outside of what is trying to constrain you. And getting to the point of thinking outside of the limitations of this earthly realm, it requires you to raise your vibration. I like to come out of my body a lot. And I do mean that literally. I like to come out of this human body that is limited to the constraints of this earthly realm. And I like to let my spirit soar. I like to allow my spirit to go to higher dimensions. Have you ever felt like you just gotta get the fuck out of here? Like you just feel suffocated. You start to feel crazy. You start to feel like an animal in a cage. That's when it's very much needed to stop, sit down, be still, quiet yourself, quiet your mind, quiet your environment if you can, and tap in with the divine and begin to do what is needed for you to raise your vibration so that you can raise your level of consciousness, your level of understanding. When you raise your level of consciousness, immediately you have already left this earthly realm. Because as I said, the vibration of this earthly realm is very low because of those constraints of the 4 dimensions. So when you raise your level of understanding, you come up out of that. You come out of the body. I'm not limited to these constraints. I'm out of my body. Let me explain further. Portals and different dimensions absolutely do exist. And we get to those different portals and different dimensions by reaching a higher level of consciousness. Going to a higher consciousness or a higher mindset or a higher level of understanding requires us to raise our vibrations, as I said before. And at different vibrations are different dimensions. When you reach a different vibration, that is a different dimension. On different dimensions are different laws and possibilities. On Earth's dimension, human beings can't fly. It's just not possible here. But on another dimension, it might be different. Actually, I'm quite sure. And like I said, that's just a tiny example. Going from one dimension to another should sound very familiar. It sounds like time travel, right? In the spiritual realm and universally, as I mentioned earlier, time does not exist. Time does not exist outside of this earthly realm. Time is a man-made concept used to track and control. And honestly, every time us as human beings say shit on this realm like, I don't have enough time, you're speaking that spell over your life, and you're speaking that energy into the atmosphere of this earthly realm, which reinforces the spell of time. We all say the same shit and be in one accord and in one thinking that time is actually a constraint, and it becomes more of a constraint in your life and in all of our lives, if that makes sense. But because time does not truly exist, instead of calling it time travel, you should be calling it astral projection. There's a lot of people who have spoken to me about experiencing what they thought was sleep paralysis or being attacked in the spiritual realm and held down by a demon. But honestly, they were experiencing astral projection. Astral projection is being able to project your conscious mind, which is your spiritual form or your spiritual body, from here to there in the astros. The event of astral projection is usually experienced when you are on your way to sleep. That's why people think they're experiencing sleep paralysis. But sleep is also another dimension, by the way. So when you're going to sleep or when you're getting ready to fall asleep, your body and your spirit is in between. And what happens is your spirit is trying to raise out of your body. And if you've ever felt that jump, like that sudden jolt, like, and you jump yourself awake, it's your spirit falling back down into your body because it doesn't have enough vibration to completely rise out. It doesn't have enough energy to completely rise out of your body. I believe that when we pray, meditate, and petition while manifesting, it raises our vibration to a heightened level, which lands us on different dimensions. That's how your manifestation power becomes so strong, because you've mastered the ability to come out of this human form so that you can project yourself in the astrals to higher dimensions. And you project yourself to the dimension of where whatever you're trying to manifest into this realm lives. So we do, quote unquote, time travel. We astral project. We astral travel. And that can be done through intentional meditation. So earlier, when I mentioned that right now my life has been feeling absolutely crazy on this realm, that everything that has been presented to me and my path on this realm has been fucking absolutely what the fuckness, okay? And then moving from that space of trying to understand why into the space of understanding that it's happening for a reason, and then diving deeper into what that reason is. The reason and the lesson is to force me, shake me, to shift out of this earthly realm of surviving, this earthly realm of constraints, this earthly realm of limits, this simple as 4D dimensional space, and shift into a higher level of understanding, a higher dimension, a higher level of consciousness where there are no restraints, where there are no limitations. And when I sit down and raise my vibration out of this earthly realm, when I sit down and shift my vibration to a higher level so that I can reach a higher dimension, I remove myself from the constraints of this realm, going higher and higher to the point where I can manifest how I need to. If you can't believe outside of the restraints of this earthly realm, you can't manifest. So when I rise above and out of this earthly realm, and I go to higher levels, and I astral project myself mentally, I am then able to raise my vibration to wherever my manifestation is, wherever it lives. And so I have been practicing raising my vibration to the dimension of thriving, and raising my vibration to the dimensions of more than enough, and raising my vibrations to the dimension where abundance lives. The problem that I'm having right now is staying on those higher dimensions because I become distracted with this earthly realm's dimension, and I see the problems in front of me and they scare the shit out of me, right? And I see the problems in front of me and it scares me and it distracts me and it drops my vibration back down to this earthly realm. That's when you begin to worry. That's when fear begins. That's when anxiety begins. That's where questioning God and the universe begins. So then I have to sit again with myself and intentionally raise my vibration out of this earthly realm so that I continue to be on the dimensions of thriving, abundance, prosperity, and that is the realm that we need to live on. We are to move our consciousness from one level to another, but we for damn sure need to move it out of this low vibrational ass earthly realm. I want to live on a higher dimension where everything and anything is possible for me, where there are no limitations for me. What may look like a bad situation for you on this realm can easily be transmuted and conquered once you rise above this realm. So to wrap things up, and I truly hope that I was not all over the place in my thoughts, but when you go to those higher levels of consciousness, the information is so deep and so vast that it hits you all at once, and it's hard to put it into human words, right? But yeah, to wrap it all up, please tap in with the divine. Please understand that the shit that we see on this earthly realm, the shit that we see on this 4D realm, this very low vibrational realm of constraints and limitations, is not it for us. There's more, there's higher. Tap in with your higher self, with your spirit, and with the divine, and with God. And raise your vibration, your faith, to a higher level, so that you no longer vibrate on this earthly realm, but so that you can begin to vibrate on a higher realm, a higher level of consciousness, a higher dimension where all things are possible for you. As always, I love you guys so much. Bye.